boggy woods of Sleepy Hollow, the war-torn fields of the Revolution, to our nation's capital, which he had a hand in building. This is the Headless Podcast. Welcome, everyone. It feels like it's been a long wait, and I am, of course, I know you've missed me, your master of the macabre, Zachary here. And what's that over the field? Is it coming once again? The pipes, the drums, and the Christine piccolo.
Hey, Zach. Wow, long time is an understatement, I think, at this point.
Especially considering the problems we had recording the season finale last year.
Yes, I know. Oh my gosh.
For anyone who are more devoted listeners wondering, we tried like 3 or 4 times to record the season finale. There was like problems with each one. We just said, screw it.
Screw it. It just got to be like, you would not believe the mess that it turned out to be. And I was just like, you know what? I just can't. And besides, I was like so, I guess the word is, I don't know what the word is. I couldn't even talk anyway. I was like so defeated at the end of season 3 that, I just couldn't even like get my thoughts together enough anyway. It was just so mind-boggling, the whole thing. So,
but we have a new season.
Yes, and I have to say, I mean, the moment I saw the trailer at New York Comic Con, I was like, oh my god, okay, this is gonna be good. And, I tweeted it out, and some people were like, ugh. And, we'll get into Abby and all of that, but, I kind of feel like they're recapturing, a lot of, the spirit of what season 1 was. So, and of course I've seen the next 2 episodes, 3 and 4, so, but I'm not gonna talk about that right now, but I just feel like, they're back, and I feel like that the cast is chemistry is great. Anyway, I'm loving it.
Yes, indeed. The first episode, it seems to give me hope. It's funny, because I actually have, some people back when I used to live at home who sometimes watch Sleepy Hollow, and they like season 1, and then season 2, they're like, what the? Like, and nowadays, whenever I watch Sleepy Hollow, I go, hey, you're still watching that stupid show?
Yeah, well, they should tune in now, because it's not, I think moving it to DC was smart.
Oh, we both agreed with that, because the thing about Sleepy Hollow is, and I think me and Dawn talked about this a lot, I think you and me did too, and, it's the fact that there's only so much, I mean, you can say happened in Sleepy Hollow. Like, I forget who it was that said, but it was the episode with Ben and they had to find a clue in a Ben Franklin statue. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. And they were like, well, there's only like one statue in Sleepy Hollow. Everything is in Philadelphia.
I know, right? There just happened to be a Ben Franklin statue.
Right. So, and I think it was a brilliant move, really, to go to one. And it makes sense.
So much American history they can do,
Exactly. And like, I had my reservations, Sleepy Hollow, indie, but it works, and oh my god, I love the vault. The vault is amazing. I thought I was gonna miss the archives,
Yeah, I wonder, I actually may know about that in the set, because we see a little glimpse of it in the next episode.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, is someone keeping an eye on the archives?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there's still mystical books.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and 2, I'm guessing if they need to go back, obviously Jenny can, take a shot, go back to whatever they need.
Well, I'm sure they'll have one sleep. They're gonna have something, and I'm sure they'll do one thing in Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, I believe it's episode 5. I know that they filmed, I think, in Lawrenceville again, so I believe it's episode 5 that they go back to Sleepy Hollow.
I made a note about this because now do you think we're gonna get another Bones crossover? Because they're in DC now. They were at the Jefferson in this episode.
I know, I thought about that, but no, I don't think they're gonna cross it over, but I find it interesting, a lot of the fans, we were all saying, oh my god, it would be epic to have Sleepy Hollow crossover with the X-Files.
Well, that would make sense.
It
made no sense to cross, or Bones has been losing the plot the last 2 seasons. Although, here's what's interesting. They recently had a character from Bones on Rosewood, so now technically Sleepy Hollow connects to Rosewood.
Oh my god, I know, if we could do like the whole, get a chart out.
Oh my god, I actually would like to see Rosewood on Sleepy Hollow, because he'd be like, cool, magic exists, let's go with it.
Exactly. I'm telling you, it's, and I'm so mad at myself, but with all the questions that I had to ask the writers, I totally forgot. I was dying to know, because it was Len Weissman that actually came up with. It was Len Weissman and Bob Orsi that actually came up with this season's storyline. It was their idea. So I'm anxious, and I totally forgot to ask them that. I mean, it was anyway. Maybe I'll get a chance down the line.
One thing I'm a little confused about in this whole, and mostly, because of course in the beginning they tried to fake us out twice to make us think he was in Sleepy Hollow. First they did the sign, and then they did the runway, but it was actually the airport. I did like Superstitious is a good choice though for a song.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, it totally brought me back, of course, to the pilot, where he stumbled out of the forest and onto the road, and then, it turns out it's the airport, not, so it kind of harkens back to the pilot. There were a few themes, that I saw. I mean, when she, handcuffed him to the car and stuff, so there were a few little things that kind of reminded me of the pilot, and so I could see that they were trying to sort of bring that flavor back a little bit.
But the thing, okay. The thing with Dreyfus, and we'll talk more about Dreyfus in a bit, and the guy's holding Ichabod. So is that all the rogue agents? He was Abby's father was talking about.
I think that the division, of course they talked.
Now they've given it a name, yeah.
They've given it a name, but I think those are the bad guys, right? So those are the bad.
If you remember, her father said that some of the agents have lost their way.
Right, and I think that they might be under Walters, and I kept wondering, is Walters going to pop up?
Yeah, I know.
Because I was thinking, oh my God, well, where's Walters? He's got to, he's the one who obviously had Ichabod taken and held for 2 weeks, and,
was he? I am so, because was that guy the same as was he working for, there's some disconnect here, and I'm not sure who's working for who or what's going on when it comes to that.
Yeah, I don't know. They haven't quite figured. Well, because I do think that that map that Nevin handed to Walters with the 9 artifacts. I think they have to carry that over. And
I wonder if that's what the items are going to be. Like Lincoln Memorial is one of the sacred sites.
Right, exactly. And then, and then this week. Anyway, we'll talk about it. I don't want to talk about it right now. But anyway, it's gonna be, I don't know, I'm interested how this is gonna unfold, and yeah, I'm dying to know if we're gonna see Walters. And who else, I have to say, with the X-Files, obviously, you knew Smoking Man standing in the corner smoking, and the FBI people got questioning, Scully and stuff about, first episode. I'm talking about the pilot episode of the X-Files. It's a little unclear as to who within the FBI is involved in this division or this, this shadowy shady part. We've only had a couple characters. The only one that I can pinpoint is Walters right now, and of course, obviously Malcolm, but he's not in the government, controlling the government, just obviously. I don't know. We'll have to keep watching, I guess.
I guess so. So, we also get, we get a new partner in crime, Diana, played by, you can pronounce her name, and,
Janina Gavankar.
And I'm liking her so far. Obviously she's the new Abby in a sort of way, and
she has the same attributes as Abby in that, she's a strong woman, she's got military background, she's, obviously she's a, agent with the Homeland Security, and, what I found really interesting is, the opening thing with her and her partner there, he's like, you gotta let somebody in, and then there was the scene with the, her and Ichabod
foreshadowing.
And they were just, and I was just kind of like, okay, well, if she's guarded emotionally, I just didn't think she would be, exposing so much of her life so quickly, but I guess, we only have 13 episodes, so I guess have to move it along for story purposes, so I kind of understand, we just kind of have to overlook that, but the one thing that, obviously she has that Abby didn't, as a child, and, I'm anxious to hear, what are your thoughts, about Diana, and, what are you thinking at the point?
Well, there's not much on her past so far, but I'm thinking that there's decent chemistry so far with Ichabod, so that's good, and on a completely superficial standpoint, she's very hot, but,
You can say that.
Hey, someone has to represent the shallow viewpoint.
The shallow
Exactly.
percentage of...
This show is set in D.C. We must represent all Americans.
Alright, I'll let you have
No,
it.
but we forgot to mention that we got a quip from Ichabod, oldest trick in the book, and that's coming from me.
I know, I love that. That was great.
Oh, now, when you first saw the episode, did you think the Headless Lincoln meant, headless?
Yes, that's what I thought immediately. I'm like, oh my god, Headless. That was I didn't even think of anything other than that. Like, it's a red herring.
They did a few of those, this one.
Yeah. And I love that they used the Lincoln Memorial. It's,
And we see they really only slightly changed the opening credits. Not that much, really.
I know, and I have to say this, and I said this in my article last week, was like, it's just so weird. I can't get used to seeing all these new people. It was weird. The opening credits to me is different now. I don't know. I just think, I just always, it's weird. Obviously, and then, I thought too, I guess they have the horse running through there without Headless, but I think they need to add Headless back on there.
Well, maybe they will now that he's back.
Yeah, it just seems. I mean, did you notice though they changed it? They have him. Like they reconstruct the White House and stuff. I mean, that's kind of.
Yeah, I didn't. That's one of the slight change. So I think I think it works. Now because again we see Diane's a good investigator because she's using what Ichabod left in his tracks to find him back to the place where they were keeping him.
Mhm. Yeah, and I loved when he came in and saved her though, and it's like a demon. She's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, she doesn't want to, but I'm like they didn't spend too much time on it, because I've said this especially on this show many times, I always hate on supernatural shows. It's one thing when someone walks up to you and says, we gotta go hunt demons, fine, you can be skeptical then, but when you've seen it...
Right. There was nothing she could do, I mean, it was, and didn't it look like a cross of, like, Freddy Krueger and, like, I said Freddy Krueger and the Emperor from Star Wars or something.
No, I wouldn't say Emperor from Star Wars. I'd say more a little bit of Jack the Ripper.
Oh, there you go, Jack the Ripper. Okay, I'll agree with that.
And this is as good a place as any to talk about that. What do we think about the look for the monster this week?
I actually liked it. I mean, he was creepy looking, and he turned around when I was just like, oh my god, when Eric was like, you can't be in this area, and it was classic Sleepy Hollow monster, in my, what we expect. We always expect, the creepiest.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a good, of the effects, good makeup, and it was pretty gnarly looking monsters, which is what you want.
And I love the fact that he used his finger, to kill, which was interesting.
And where he did it was, once we find out who he is, we find out it's kind of socially relevant.
Right. So I thought that was really clever. Of course, the twistery. Listen, I mean, I have to say, even through, all the ups and downs of Sleepy Hollow from season 1, to present, I mean, their twistery always amazes me how they come up with stuff. Like, who thinks of this,
So we might as well talk about we talked about the monster week, now we can talk about the villain of the week. We have Dreyfus, and as much as I love this actor, he really needs to go to the barber.
Well, I think this episode that's coming up on Friday, his hair is shorter. But yeah, oh my god, Jeremy Davies, he was in Justified, he Lost. I mean, I've been a fan of Lost since I was a huge Lost.
I'm pretty sure the show that introduced me to him was Justified.
I mean, he's fabulous. I was happy when I heard that they got him for this. I mean, he's killing it, that's for sure. And what about Kamar? Is it Delos Reyes? I hope I said that right, Kamar. He used to be on One Life to Live.
Is that his second in command?
Yeah, Snake Eyes. I call him Snake Eyes.
Hey.
I'm like, hey.
That's a good guy name.
I want to see his true visage, though. He's definitely a reptilian.
Or what? Well. Actually, yeah. Now I made a few notes about that. It's like, I mean, because he does seem to be working for, like, well, is he just working for him, or is he just doing what he says? Like, is he human? Is he not? Like, was he once human? Like, there's so many questions.
Well, I know, and I hope we get that fleshed out a little bit. I hope there's time to flesh that out. I I mean, he's obviously working for Dreyfus. I mean, who knows? Maybe he might. Who knows? He might have his own agenda. I don't know. I mean, and obviously, I mean, the opening. By the way, I mean, the introduction of Dreyfus was interesting. I mean, he's doing a satanic ritual. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's a baddie.
Okay, well, technically, I don't know if it was satanic. Let's not insult another religion out there.
Well, okay, a ritual, I'll say. Then,
but yes. Because I think it's because we get that later that Japanese bills and they're like, oh, he's torn about by an animal. It's obviously that guy that did it. So
well, that's the thing. Snake Eyes went there and killed him. Killed the, so he could get the business.
Right, that's what I mean. I mean, so it's what is he? It's.
Well, definitely some type of something that can, transform into something. I don't know.
Well, I guess. I wonder if it's gonna be because both times we've had Moloch did have his own legend, so of course it's Pandora, although they could have made up their own Pandora take. So I wonder what the explanation for this is going to be.
Yeah, I guess, hopefully, I hope they don't make, I noticed, last season, I felt like, since we didn't really discuss this or get this out there, I just wanted to say briefly that, because I don't really want to harp on it, but the first eight episodes I thought were very, very interesting, and then the last 8, they sort of didn't coincide or connect very well. So my hope is that this season, since we've only got 13 episodes, I'm hoping that it all connects and they don't leave any loose ends. I felt like last season there were some loose ends.
Last season, I just, as much as I want this show to succeed, I'm always worried that Season 2 was so bad, the show will never fully recover. And see, the big problem with that is, it's not like they did a reboot. They have to still connect the stuff that happened. And that will, I think, could possibly limit it.
I think they're doing a good job because, they've explained a little bit here and there. You'll see in the next episode, more is going to come out about, who Ichabod is, and that kind of a thing. And I do think that they can build on that, and I don't think that it's a detriment. I really don't. I think that in my estimation so far from what I've seen, they've done a lot to connect more of season 1 with season 4 versus the last 2 seasons. Although, as everybody knows, I mean, it's been reported already that, John Noble is going to be in episode 4, The People versus Ichabod Crane.
It's probably going to be some kind of vision or flashback or something.
It's good. It's good. You'll like it. I think people will like it.
Now, there's one thing about because we get the vault.
Right.
And I've always been confused though, because obviously Washington started because it seems implied that they're not really, obviously these two aren't agents.
Well, I think that's the thing that I can't figure out with that. I mean, I think they are. They have to be agents. They have to be agents to be working in that sector.
But that's what I mean. They're not very clear on that because.
Well, yeah, they're sort of but they have to be agents. They're not field agents. They're agents with they're like desk agents.
They don't call it an agency. They call it an art guy. And I've always been curious about stuff like this because Washington's. I mean, are they part of the? Okay, so the division seems to be what they call Washington's section, right? Or was that something else? Yeah, okay. So, though they're members of, doesn't that mean they work for Walters too? Or they don't even know it?
I think that it might end up being like something like that. Like, they don't realize, I think, because my theory is that they don't realize that they're part of the, quote, division, but that division is the shadowy, and that's why they wanted him to track it. I mean, think about it. That's why they need somebody to keep track of all of the supernatural things that are happening in the nation. That's why they want to catalog it. I mean, they have these people down there doing that, and especially with the artifact. I mean, it makes more sense that they would be a tool for the shadow government versus, they probably don't know it. I just think that they kind of.
It's just some of it just doesn't make because if Walters is the real version of the real head of the Washington's agency, it's like so they don't use the vault, and another thing that doesn't make any sense is they weren't having anyone keeping an eye. There's a lot of disconnect, and again, this is what I'm worried about, seasons connecting, so there's some stuff that just, I don't know, needs that connection.
I think we've got, gotta remember, we're only in 2 episodes, so hopefully,
right.
I think, not a lot in 3 as far as that goes. I mean, I think we'll see more in the later episodes, is what I'm thinking. There's going to be more of an unfolding of all of this.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll. I think they're going to do a good job this time. I have my faith. I have my Sleepy Hollow faith that the writers got there.
I did like we get a little view of Ichabod deciphering, like, through his eyes.
Well, I'm dying to know if they're going to tell him if he's going to tell him that he's got an eidetic memory, because they don't even know about that yet.
And although, again, one thing they do really good in this episode is, explore other eras of history. Like this one, we get the Civil War, and it turns out that the demon is actually John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah, it was great twistery there. Oh my God! And I like the fact that when Lincoln's wife was able to trap him. I mean, that whole thing was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I like it slightly implied that Mary Todd was like a white witch.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad that they're bringing in the witches again.
We're going to talk about that when we get into the next episode.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I mean next episode. Because we're still talking about this one. But again, there's one thing I'm really hoping I want to see in this show, because it's kind of, in the last season it was the British using demons, and this one, it was a southern occultist using demons. I hate when it's black and white, I want to see, I think it'd be a good storyline to show, the reverse. Like, maybe the quote-unquote good side losing their way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Well, we don't know. Maybe we will start seeing that, down the line here. I mean, how is all this going to affect Molly, too? I mean, is she going to go down the wrong path?
I know.
You don't know. They could do a lot with that, really. They wanted to. I mean, when I think about her, I look at remember Macy, when she was possessed. That was a great episode. Anyway,
I do like the implication that Ichabod is an expert on decapitation.
Yeah, I know.
That was so on the nose.
If only you knew the truth. I felt like he was gonna. Well, yeah, and I have decapitated the headless horse. the horse of death, or horseman of death, or whatever. It's like crazy.
Now, but again, they find the Booth. It would be funny if when they said Booth, he goes, "I knew someone with that name."
Yeah. Well, and it was a great way of twisting the truth there. And wouldn't that be cool if that really did happen, though?
Well, so they find, and I think it's such a fascinating idea to make the demon was summoned to defeat the Union. So because it was trapped in a cell for how many 100 something years, and it's obsessed, so it's just randomly kill. Okay, now I think I can say this now because it's not really a spoiler, but they say the demon is obsessed with killing people with flags, and yet at the end of the episode, he's surrounded by people with flags, and he's just standing there. I swear to God, he's smiling, just like, ooh, which one do I kill first?
Yeah, I know. I know. That kind of was freaking me out a little bit, I have to tell you. I didn't like that.
And no one is noticed. I know a lot of people there in costume, but no one is noticing the demon.
No one. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, he did look, so I don't know.
Yeah, okay. But again, I just want an explanation, but again, I'll talk this. I want more explanation, the vault, the connect, because it seems like they've had to create more stuff to connect to last season, so I'm hoping they can make it work.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, I think, like I said, with 13 episodes, we're gonna have to make it tight.
Let's hope they can do it.
It's my understanding, I think they're gonna start filming the final episode this week or next, something like that, so they're almost done filming, so.
Now, when I didn't know this, I wonder if they didn't really say this, but it seems implied, the Lincoln Memorial and Lincoln's on the Penny and copper's what traps the demon, so I wonder if that's was supposed to be a hint that Lincoln's on the Penny, that's what you use against the Booth demon.
Right, I think so, yeah.
And I'm liking now we can talk about the Vault employees. I am liking them.
Yes.
I think.
And, Alex is played by Rachel Melvin. She'd be on Days of Our Lives, so I was a fan. I love that they brought in a couple of soap opera actors to the show. Because, I came from soap opera, reporting on that for about 3-4 years, and so it's been fun to be able to see them in something different.
Yeah, I'm liking both of them. He seems like he's got the talent, and of course, anything with a cute gadget building girl, I like that. And we get some weapon upgrades, which that opens a lot of possibilities.
We needed a weapons upgrade, man. I mean, well, the other thing I keep wondering, so is Ezra Mills never to return again?
That's what I'm talking about.
Remember, he had that whole cache with a whole bunch of mystical, different, cool, demon fighting, artifact, weapons, remember? And that's just MIA, I guess, now.
Well, again, like, there's so much that needs to connect, but, I guess we'll just have to, wait and see. And also, I made a slight note about this, because there's that, again, they love mentioning Hamilton in Sleepy Hollow. So apparently there are even hipsters in Revolutionary War circles. It's like, what the heck?
I was like, take your ruffles and stuff them, dude. Ichabod's wardrobe rocks. I was like dying. And the funny thing is, it cracked me up because all during season 1, I remember thinking, he's walking around with his heavy wool, coat from, the 1800s, 1700s, whatever, and he's got these big old boots on, and nobody's making fun of his outfit. He's out there sitting on a bleacher watching baseball, and so it cracked me up that, finally somebody's making fun of him, but it's not for the, it's because he looks not as in style as Hamilton.
Well, it's funny because DC is a place you could walk around dressed like that and no one would bat an eye.
Right. Yeah, I was dying laughing.
Yes. So, of course, they've tried to trap the demon, even though it doesn't make any sense since there's flags all around them, but whatever. Moving on. And, they also get a badass... Now, I do like that everyone saw the demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's even the girl who's, like, all into, like, oh, I'm into what I can build. Like, okay, the demon punched you. Obviously it exists.
Right. Well, yeah, and she's so, like, and I love that, I think it was actually this last episode where she was like, I believe in everything that I can see and feel and touch or whatever. Well, you're seeing it, and it's supernatural and it's real, so you can't deny it. And I think it's kind of dragging her, or I don't know, but, opening her, I guess, mind to what the reality of it all is. And can I just say, one of my favorite moments of the pilot was when Jake asked Ichabod for a selfie. That was just priceless.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, and we forgot to say his nickname, Captain Brownbeard.
Yeah, Captain Brownbeard. Oh, my God. But yeah, so I it's going to be interesting to see how Alex deals with all this stuff, and Jake is just loving it.
Yeah.
He was like, I always thought that this, wanted to know if this could be, and then it is. And he's like a kid in a candy store more to me than loving the whole thing. And thank God there's tunnels. Can I just say I was so happy when they're like, oh wait, we've got a secret entrance tunnels, and I'm like, thank God, because you can't have Sleepy Hollow without the tunnels.
Exactly. So, and of course we get a badass entrance by Miss Jenny Mills.
Yeah, saving the day as always. Actually, that's Miss Badass. I was like, yay. Go Jenny.
I'm curious though, when he's talking about Columbia, I think it'd be an interesting idea if they actually have, like, that be a character, like somehow the very spirit of America gets personified or something, like America gets its own goddess.
That would be epic. I mean, oh my God. Well, and I keep waiting, because it was George Washington that helped, LaFont is the one who did the layout of basically constructed DC. I keep waiting to see if they're gonna, if any of this stuff, stones that Malcolm is looking for, these artifacts, whatever. I don't know, I keep thinking, is there something that's gonna happen, because the layout,
It's gonna be something, definitely.
Gotta be.
And something I think that should be worth mentioning is they blow up Lincoln's head.
Yeah, poor Lincoln. I know, I think I tweeted out something like, the guy can't catch a break. First he's, like, shot in the head, and then
I mean, one thing, I wonder how they're gonna, if they're even gonna try
head.
to explain it, and two, I mean, just, or if they're even,
Yeah,
I wonder if they're even gonna address it again, actually.
well, I know, I mean, what I wanted to know is, like, there's no, like, news crews, nobody's, like, questioning why is it, like, there's no outside force that is, like, wondering what the hell happened to his head. Anyway. I mean, you just kind of have to overlook that stuff,
I
I
guess
guess.
so.
Overall, I really liked the first episode.
Yes. Well,
I felt
for a second, I thought she was gonna be the witness, but then when I saw a little girl at the end, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and I thought that was an interesting way of, because the other thing I mean, when she said that her little girl fainted
Yeah.
weeks ago, and she hasn't been able to talk, and all of this, and then, you see the notebook she's been drawing Ichabod, like, oh, okay, she's second witness. I'm just dying to know how this is gonna work. I don't know. I hope that the show goes on after this season. I mean, because you can't have the show, like, my thought is, oh my god, what if they, like, kill Ichabod and then his spirit goes to another
Oh
witness?
god, I hope they don't think the show. Let me tell you something. Girls will riot if Tom Meeson gets.
I know. Gotta have Tom. I know. I just can't imagine the show. But, I mean, and I will say, overall, I mean, it's a different vibe. I mean, it's a different vibe. You have to sort of, in the way that I came into season 4, just trying to push away all of my Ichabod and my, loving Abby and Ichabod and, the Mill sisters. And I mean, that was another aspect that I absolutely adored about the show was their, found each other and then their closeness and everything else. And, so I kind of came into season 4 looking at it as like, okay, this is a new show.
Yeah, you have to.
Because otherwise you just get mired down in what it was, was the chemistry between them and this and that. And I think that the writers have done a great job and I think it was smart for them not only to, move the location to DC, but also, have the second witness, as a child, at least initially anyway, that's what it is. And it kind of brings a fresh, kind of look to the whole thing. And I think that the cast is melding fantastically. I mean, I don't, how like sometimes you watch a show and it's just not clicking, it's not flowing well. Well, I felt that it just clicked, like the cast and everything felt good. It was like, the pilot of Sleepy Hollow. It just kind of just all just melded together, and I kind of feel like, although, yes, I mean, I do miss Abby Mills. I mean, Abby and Ichabod, and Nikki was fantastic, but, she wanted to leave the show, so for whatever reason or however it happened, I don't know, but I think they've done a good job in kind of repositioning the show. And I think it could go on another season, actually, after this. I mean, I really do. What are your thoughts?
I mean, well, I'm gonna reserve again. Yeah, I'm trying to keep an open mind because they're trying something new, and it could work. So we'll go from there and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we can do, and it's funny today actually. I rewatched both Columbia and In Plain Sight, and I was online, tweeting with some people, and they were saying, hey, I'm DVRing it. I'm thinking, maybe I will look at it. People are looking at the articles that are coming out and some of the buzz that's going on, and people are, thinking about it. I've got just a few tweets I just wanted to mention. This was just, overall, I did like some polls, and I think like 48% liked it. Where was it? Hold on, let me give you that stat real quick. I did it on the Headless podcast. 48% liked it. This is I tweeted out on our @Headless podcast Twitter. What did you think of the season 4 premiere? 48% said they liked it. 43% said they didn't like it, and 9% said they weren't sure. But
I can see that. I could make sense.
Yeah. And so, but as, I've been going on, I kind of collected a few tweets here just to get, the temperature about, what everything. Philip Iskoff, I just wanted to say, he's one of the executive producers, said, thank you, to, everyone who tuned in to Sleepy Hollow last night. The ratings held steady from last week's amazing premiere. So the premiere was a .6, as was Friday's episode as well. And it's going to be really in the L3 and the L7 and the 30-day ratings for the video on demand. How it does. But people like I said today, this lady was like, oh, I'm thinking I might check it out. And I'm like, dude, you'll like it, And so let's see. I have hold on, let me cut it up. Cindy Jacks. She said, so impressed with tonight's Sleepy Hollow. I honestly didn't think I could totally fall in love with the show again, but at End Time Survivor said, I'm really liking all the changes in Sleepy Hollow, and Crane's just so damnly darling. At Staffa Road Trip said, Sleepy Hollow was losing me fast last season, but I love how the series has basically been rebooted. At Not Rabbit Rogers said, loving the season so far, the tone, the locale, the new cast, going to be a fun ride. So, that's kind of the temperature about I got a whole bunch of people on my timeline, chatting, and they're loving it. So, all in all, I think it's going swimmingly. I'm really excited and happy about that. So I was really stressing all summer, I have to tell you.
Indeed. Now, normally we'd separate the first two, but because of timing, we're just going to quickly shovel through this episode, and then we'll do this wrap-up. So, let's talk a bit about the Witches episode, and how witches apparently just can't get a break in this universe.
Nope. Witches are back. I was happy. Like I said, I've been waiting to see, what about, the descendants of the Sisterhood of the Radiant Heart?
Yeah, again, there's so much... And one thing I want to talk about is, they show that the witches are still old with the glamour spell, but we've seen before that witches don't age. So, okay.
Well, they age, yeah. I don't know.
See?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. They do age, though, because... I don't know. I guess it depends on what witch it is.
Exactly. See, it's like they make it up for each witch. We do get a little view of the archive when Ichabod gets a vision of Molly, and although why they gave her South Park emo bangs, I don't know.
I know, that was creepy, huh? I was like, what the heck is that? No, but I have to say, when he would say Lieutenant and Abby, I'm like, oh my god, my little heart.
She's not coming back yet.
No,
you cannot ship someone who isn't there.
I know, but oh my god, I was like, no. I was like, oh my god, he's looking for her. I tweeted it out. I remember going, oh my god, he's looking for Abby. I was like freaking out. Anyway.
Yeah, but
it was nice to see the archive.
Now, I tried to look up. Now, obviously, I know about Tibetan singles. I could not find if they really do that.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting to see. It's probably just,
Yeah. I mean.
But this is the other thing, I like that Jenny, she's been out there, trying to figure out ways to, she learned a lot. She's done a lot of traveling while she was gone, and boning up on all these, ancient, rituals and things, to try and suss out who the second witness is. She's really become a champion, that?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Although I like the implication that it seems like they were doing that for hours because her wrist is sore.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, when he saw Molly and was like, I don't know, freaking out. But can I just say it was nice seeing the camper.
Oh yeah.
But I fully expected when Ichabod opened that door to have Joe sitting there with his sipping on a beer, hanging out, waiting.
Yeah.
So
We were thought that we'd get more of him, but someone didn't tell us that when we interviewed him.
I know, I still can't get over that.
I'm still meaning to send him a tweet saying, you! There.
I know, he hit it well. And he also hit the fact, remember, because we asked him about if, Clancy was coming back. And he hitched around that too. Because we saw the reunion between Sheriff Corbin and Joe at the very end.
I still got to remember. I'm going to tweet him one of these days and call him on. I always meant to. But,
anyway.
Yeah. So, this is a weird thing. It's just a weird little thing that I noticed. It's like when he brings out the ice pack, she chooses hers like it matters.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But I'm see, one thing that could be very, very cool to watch is when we can explore the relationship between Ichabod and Jenny, and that is one thing I'm very looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've really been through the mill. I mean,
Yeah.
and I love that they trust each other enough. At the end of the season, season 3, she kind of went off on her own and everything, and of course he got kidnapped. And I thought, oh my God, I hope that she doesn't, I was worried that she was gonna, just completely close off. You know what I mean? But I love that she is so, invested as Ichabod is in finding the second witness, and in helping Molly and Diana, because, she knows how Abby, being the second witness, completely obliterated her family. And so I think she has more at stake even. And that's why I think it's so important that we get to see that. We get to see them commiserate. You know what I mean? About the loss.
Well, one thing that could be interesting, because the reason their lives got ruined is because so many people tried to deny. Like, if their parents didn't try to prepare them at all. So, I mean, that could be definitely a point of something they need to bring up.
Yeah, exactly. So, I just think that they've, come along, to them, they've come a long way from where they were.
Definitely.
Anyway.
And
I just always, anyway, go ahead.
Okay, well, it's just, okay. Because, being a witch myself, I guess I'm a little oversensitive against the portrayal of witches, but it's just, I keep thinking of how bad, again, the season that shall not be named, how easily, Katrina became a bad guy, and it just made me think of this here. It's like, these witches have obviously been there for, they say 300 years or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, your sister's lying to you. Oh, our sister's lying to us. We're gonna kill you now. It's like,
I know.
Okay.
Well, she cloaked it really well. I mean, and it was Malcolm that had to bring it up. That kind of was weird. And what was the knife? The knife is that he was presenting to them.
I wasn't sure what the name was, so I didn't have to. I guess it's just made up for the show, but yeah, it was just a knife that could kill you instantly, apparently.
Right. So, but yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
But it's like how it's just how easy they turn. And although it seems to be implied that they've been in the house, or at least on the land, for 300 years.
Yeah, and then in the end, the deed was going to, it would just be in perpetuity.
Perpetuity.
I don't know how to say that. Perpetuity, thank you. In perpetuity, and so now what happened?
I know, right?
I don't know. Interesting.
Well, it'd be funny if someone goes, "There's a house there."
Yeah.
I thought it was way. I thought this episode was a bit weak. It's just the witches' motivations. They kind of imply that it's because they got a taste of killing and it just went from there. But I think that's simple.
Yeah.
I mean, those are her sisters. It needed more backstory.
Well, they went from A to Z in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Versus, but I guess for the sake of time and.
Yeah.
I mean, I do wish that we would have gotten a little bit more of a background.
It just didn't make any sense. It's too easy for me.
Well, it's possible too. I mean, who knows? There might have been a little bit more, and then.
It did have that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But I could harp on it the whole time, just.
Yeah.
But although I do. Although I will give him this, that if someone told me I was kept pretty much in a house for 300 years I don't get that. She's like, oh, I couldn't have told you. It's like, I'm pretty sure you could have.
You could have, I know.
And nothing in the agreement said they had to stay in the house.
No, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. There's a little bit of a.
I think this was just a script issue.
Yeah, I do think that there was a little bit more, and maybe they ended up having to cut it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I will say though, the snake thing is freaking awesome.
The what?
When they turn her tongue into a... When I first saw it, I didn't realize that's what was happening until like the end of the episode.
That freaked the crap out of me. I have to say, I was like, oh my god, there's that snake. I couldn't even handle that.
Well, yeah, but like I said, I didn't realize till at the end of the episode that it was actually the tongue turning into a snake. And think of this. If they're bleeding, that means the tongue is the snake and pulling itself out.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. That is just,
Oh, and I thought of this, we've kind of mentioned this already, but I think also Ichabod being in D.C., it makes more legitimacy that she might have him at crime scenes.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was the other thing. Well, obviously they had to figure that out with Abby and stuff. But yeah, it would make more sense. The thing that cracks me up is like, this is the other thing I was thinking about this today when I was watching it. I'm like, she didn't even ask for his ID or anything. Like,
Yeah, she didn't look him up, really, I don't think. Or did she?
Well, I mean, I think she did, but... And then, of course, Alex did her deeper intel.
Well, here's another thing I think is where... Because obviously it makes sense they would call a Homeland Security agent for the Lincoln Memorial. But
right.
I don't think Homeland Security gets called for body dumps in the woods.
Well, maybe... Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's possible maybe she heard of it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. Oh, but I think I should make a mention. I looked up some aren't sure she really existed, but there is a Maul Dyer legend in Maryland.
Oh, there is? What is it?
She was someone who was, supposedly killed for being a witch. I would tell people to look up, it's actually a pretty interesting legend. It's endured for many years. It's like that she was like killed as a witch, that crops won't grow near where she lived. It's but because historical records were lost around that time, no one can prove whether or not she existed or not.
Well, that's the researchers that are helping writers and research stuff. They find all kinds of crazy legend things. That's what I love about the show. One of the things, and then they twist it to their own little twistory, their evil mind, evil genius twistory.
Yes.
Here,
But again, I like how, and this is something that worked with Abby too, is when they're looking at the witch's body, Ichabod's like, oh yeah, this is a symbol of blah 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 and this and that, and Diane is like, oh, the cuts mean this, and together they solve the case, which is just like Abby, so it works in that way.
Yeah, oh definitely. But yeah, and I mean, the thing is like, I just feel like, even though, the first episode, Diana is like, oh my god, demon, whatever. But now she's just kind of, I think they work well together. I'm just not into the whole shipping thing. I don't know if they should.
Oh no, I don't. It's something we said on the Baker Street podcast several times. It's like, just because you have a man and a woman together doesn't mean they have to sleep together eventually.
I know, but the thing is this, and you knew my position. It was just the fact that Tom and Nikki had such chemistry from the moment. I mean, they were just amazing. And, and I don't know. I honestly think they could have gone there, especially if she was leaving the show. They could have gone there. I mean, I didn't have to see anything major, but for God's sake, she's going into the box. Just say I love you and let's end it, and then I can sleep,
You just want a Han Solo moment. I love you, I know.
I do! Oh, don't even bring up Carrie Fisher. I'm still upset about that.
No, I know.
Oh my god. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. Now, this is, I think, a right, it's just, again, witches are a sore spot with me with this show. It's just, I like the idea of the witches, two guys, oh, hey, baby. I love the idea of them, and this is why I thought I missed something or left the room or something when I did the rewatch, because they show them, taking the tongues of the two liars, which I'm fine with. I think that's again, DC is a place of liars, but... Right. Then the next scene is everyone's dead in the restaurant. It's like, I know you said they're gonna escalate, but that's kind of a jump.
Yeah, it was. Well, I think it might have been maybe a upset on the cutting
I really think because that there was no build to what they were doing. There was no reason or build.
Right. Well, that's the thing, I mean, you can't just have like one little whip moment, just one thing. It needs to be a little bit more constructive.
Yeah, there's imagine if the real climax had been they're looking for liars and they try to get into like the Senate or something,
Oh, I know. Oh my God. Now that would be an interesting episode. Imagine.
But it's a slide. But I guess I just have to accept and move on now. So we also, of course, they find out, they realize that Molly's the witness and they have to deal with that.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, I mean, you see Jenny was just, oh my God, she is second witness, and Ichabod is just really concerned, because it's a huge thing.
I always worry when they have, anytime you have a baby or a kid,
yeah.
It's like, whenever a baby is like whenever someone's pregnant in a show like this, whenever someone's gonna have a baby it's like, oh God, what's gonna happen to the kid? Cause what are you gonna do? Have them carry a baby around?
Yeah, I know.
And they're fighting.
Well, the thing is, I was like, especially over the summer, I mean, me and the girls, we talk about it, and on Twitter and stuff, and I mean, like, I feel like it's not, like, I was worried about it, but I think that the way they're doing it is, so far, it's good. It's understated.
Well, we'll see.
I was worried too because, I mean, and Una, she's doing a fantastic job. I mean, she's so cute. And I saw her. She was on MasterChef Junior. I think
she was?
Yeah, she was MasterChef Junior. She came in second, I think, if I recall correctly.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I mean, she can cook. This girl is like, I mean, I don't even know half the stuff that.
Oh, so she really can cook pancakes.
Yeah, she really can. That's why I was like, oh, that's hilarious. But no, like, I was worried that they were going to do the whole, kind of make it cheesy and have, Ichabod trying to, teach her to cook, or her trying to teach him to cook, or, like, I just thought it might be a little bit too cheesy, but the way that they've done it so far, I think she's doing a great job.
Yeah.
And it's understated enough, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I mean, she has second witness within her soul. Now, can they transfer it?
They're not very clear on what it means. If it's like, well, again, they didn't really say, like, kind of more said, it's like more a mantle, like the essence. It's like, cause, like Ichabod said, she's not like Abby's reincarnated or something, but I don't know where.
No. Yeah, that was funny too, because when I asked the writers at New York Comic Con, I said, so how is this soul thing gonna work? She's got Abby's soul, and they said, no, we're thinking of it, it's second witness's soul, it's not Abby's soul, so I had to, like, kind of separate, from that, but yeah, and I liked how that she explained to her mom, well, look, we haven't got back, I mean, I don't know, where are we at within the episode?
We're doing we can jump around, but yeah, you're talking about when she said it felt like I lost a friend, right?
Yeah, and that she was overshadowed, like her shadow was overshadowed. So, sort of like her soul was sort of overshadowed by this other soul.
Yeah.
Which is why she wouldn't talk. So I thought that was really interesting.
We'll see where they. Although I just love this, the kids picking her, because it's like, you who's mind your own business, keeping yourself. What's wrong with you?
Right. Oh yeah, and like Diana thinks Jenny would do something.
Yeah, I made a note of that. It's like I understand she's overprotective, especially with how her kid's quiet. But her first reaction was, "Did you do this?" I understand Jenny's not going to be defensive, but I just wanted to see Jenny go, "Yeah, I beat up a kid."
Yeah. I pulled out my taser gun and I know that part was kind of like a little bit. But the meeting, I mean, can I just say that first moment when they were looking at each other, that was so intense.
Well, did you notice the Tibetan singing bowl?
Yes, and I was like, oh my God, this is it was epic. It really was. I was like, oh my God.
Her being quiet actually reminds me of a joke. There's a joke about a British couple adopts a German boy, a baby, and it grows up. It never talks. It never says a word. He never says a word. And I think he goes to be about, and they get him checked by psychiatrists, doctors. He's perfectly fine. And about 7 years old, he's eating some strudel, and he says, "This apple strudel is a bit tepid." And his parents go, "You talk? You never said anything before. What? Now you're talking?" And he goes, "Up until now, everything had been satisfactory."
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my god. Everything had been satisfactory.
It'd be funny if she just went, "Why didn't you talk?" Nobody asked.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do. I'm curious. I'm a little, because again, I'm worried because when you have kids in a supernatural, like, oh, the kid's the chosen one, it's like the whole show becomes every week the demons protecting them. I mean the heroes protecting them from the demons. It's like, oh god, demons busting and stop them. Blah blah.
I think that they know. I think the writers, they've got a grip on it. I mean, I don't think it's got to be very well balanced, or else it's gonna turn into the Scooby-Doo show.
Exactly.
And so, but I think they're gonna do. I mean, oh my god, I can't wait for Friday.
You're worse than Dawn when it comes to spoilers.
I know.
But speaking of Dawn, I wonder if she started watching the show.
She should. You need to get a hold of her and find out.
Oh please, she's harder to get a hold of than you. But and something we definitely need to talk. Okay, they've kind of alluded to it. But Ichabod even said, "I knew the witch." Like, I knew her then, and he kind of glossed over it last episode. But they've kind of addressed, a time traveler. I mean, I really hope they don't take too long to address the fact that Ichabod's from the past.
No, I can tell you this, that they figure it out in the next episode.
Oh, good. I was so worried they were gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing I don't want to see them draw out. I understand it's difficult to tell her, but I really don't want it drawn out of them telling her about, like, I don't want some stupid moment where it's like 4 episodes down the line. And it's next episode? Good. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Dawn gets the episodes like a week ahead of any of us.
I know, little shit.
Dawn, Christine, Lilith, all you guys just all get to watch before. And I swear to God, you guys are all the worst. I have to message you and say, don't tell me.
I know, but I mean, I'm telling you, this episode coming up Friday has been like so hard for me not to say anything because fans are gonna absolutely go berserk. Headless Horseman is back.
Yeah. Well, before we talk about Headless coming back, what do we think about I think it's an interesting thing to address is modern technology mixing with magic. It's the fact that the glamour spell works on like living things, like so a camera can break through it.
Right. Well, I don't know how. There's got to be something major big with this whole thing that's going to come out. I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm trying to know what Malcolm's up to.
Yeah, can we talk about Diana just touching the mystical clock?
Oh, I know. I was like, okay.
That?
That is right. I was like, oh my god, really? That was a little bit.
She's like, oh, well, 50-50. I'm like, no, let's not make that a regular thing. It's like, what does this do?
What does this do? I know. And obviously, I love it was the clock, though. I mean, you got the time travel thing, you got the clock thing. I mean, kind of exotic. But I know, that part I was like, oh my god, really? But, the other thing that I asked, and I didn't get a chance to ask the writers this either, but I asked Tom and Lindy, and I asked Janina and Jeremy. I'm like, so is Malcolm the Antichrist? Like, are we going on the third tribulation? Because the third tribulation, if they were doing that, if they're still doing that, the apocalypse, whatever, this is the third tribulation, is that there's supposedly a billionaire or whatever that has money and technology and all that, ends up being the Antichrist. I mean, I don't think they're going that route, but none of them could answer it either. They didn't know. But I just wondered, is this third tribulation? Because when I said that to Tom, he's like, what, we've only done 2 tribulations? Because he was like, to him it seems like we should be on, the 5th tribulation. But yeah, nobody can answer that question. I just wondered if they were still gonna, if this is just another chapter, another tribulation, and that's how I was looking at it even should be.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. So, of course, I just realized something. Who has the knife?
What knife?
The knife that can kill you with one cut?
Yeah, I don't know. What happened?
He used it to kill the witch, obviously, and then we don't see it again.
Well, given it to Alex. That's what I think.
Well, they don't. Again, they didn't address that.
Yeah, they didn't address it. Well, it might pop up in another episode.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, because you don't want that out in the open. But again, I keep thinking about how nothing, because we see Washington, the witches must protect this for in perpetuity. It's like, yeah, nowhere think of it, if they've been sitting in that house doing nothing, that means no one's tried to get the artifact, and the one time someone does it, apparently all he had to do to get the artifact, he said, here, have a knife. Oh, here's the stone.
I know. Well, I'm dying. This whole stone business. Like, I was thinking, is the missing stone from, the missing cornerstone from the White House, is that gonna factor into all this?
Oh, who knows? There's so many different ways they could go.
I know. I'm dying to know if that might be another one of the stones that he's looking for, is what I think. Because, George Washington, they did the whole Masonic, ceremony in order to christen, the White House when they, started the dig of the White House, whatever, to build the White House. And they had that stone there, and then it was moved, and then it disappeared, I guess, and, nobody knows what happened to it. So it'd be interesting if they actually incorporate that into the whole thing.
Well, we'll have to see. So yeah, the witches get killed, and really, that part of the storyline is kind of weak. But we get that scene which, I mean, there seems to be a weird, I really want to know more about Dreyfus and, what's his second command's name?
Job. J-O-B. Job.
Job, that's, almost biblical. I mean, well, oh god, I wonder if he actually is the serpent.
That's what I'm wondering, I'm telling you.
We'll see.
Snake Eyes, I called him Snake Eyes. I'm thinking, what if he's the one that, I don't know. What if he's actually the one in charge? Like, he doesn't, but Malcolm doesn't realize.
Yeah, that's what, there's so many ways that go. So we see, also that Headless is, by the way, I love the implication that he just rode from Sleepy Hollow to DC and just one random trucker notices.
I know, that
No one sees him, no one notices a freaking headless horseman driving down the highway.
Oh my god, wait till you see next.
We're here over 995. We got a heavy traffic build-up. There seems to be a guy with no head riding a horse with a big axe. Please stay clear about that if you're trying to get to work.
With a fiery axe, I know.
But I'm curious, what will be real, I'm sure, obviously, since you've seen the episode, like, it'll be interesting to see, his motivation, because again, Moloch's dead. I mean, he still, of course, hates Ichabod, but...
Yeah, well, you'll
I guess we'll see. So, okay, those were the first two episodes. Basically, like one big one, really. First one gave me some hope, and I'm liking a lot of the characters. Second one, there was some issue with the writing, and it was clearly evident. It wasn't a bad episode, but it was like nothing. Like, it wasn't memorable at all.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think that a lot of it is maybe editing.
I think so, because it had no build.
Yeah, but you got the next two episodes are good. I think you're gonna we will find out a lot more about like where the hell is Ichabod staying? I mean, is he? I thought, okay, what is he staying with Jenny?
I never thought about that.
Yeah, well, we'll find out a little bit more about that in the next episode, and we find out a little bit more about Malcolm is still a mystery to me. I'm still trying to figure this guy out. What is he like? What is his end game? I can't figure it out. But anyway, and then of course the next episode after that is really good. Oh my god! And there's a moment in the People versus Ichabod Crane, episode 4, that is exquisite. This moment that happens, and that's all I'm gonna say, and it is amazing. If you guys liked the, when Ichabod and Molly met, and you're really gonna like this moment. And so, that's all I wanna say. I don't wanna, give too much away other than to say Headless is back, and, I'm excited for everybody to see this episode coming up.
Alright, so I think that's all for this time. Christine, how can people get in touch with you?
Well, you can follow me. I'm actually handling @CPAddict on Twitter and also @Headless Podcast. And you can tweet with me or visit the Facebook page. I'm also handling the Headless Podcast Facebook page. If you like this broadcast, can you please like our Facebook page and follow me on Twitter? And we're hopefully going to be able to keep up on all of all of the new episodes coming up here.
Indeed. And me, you can always find me on any of the Facebook pages, and of course Twitter, WillSpirit00. And this is normally when we do our tag, but because of a new season, we're going to try something different. I want you, and Christine can help us with later on getting it out to the fans. I want the fans to help us choose our new end line. Hopefully you can get to us before the end, because there's only 13 episodes, so hurry up, fans. For now, so just email us, message us, post, and tweet us with your ideas for our new end line to try to tie in with this new style, new season. But until then, we'll just say, don't lose your head.
There you go.